I'm Jason Wagner. I'm the Public Lands Manager out here at Cheyenne Bottoms. Today we're over here at the Goose Pen project. It's been a long-term goal of mine to see this through. What I want to go through is kind of the history of the Goose Pens themselves. So when Cheyenne Bottoms was first purchased the land, they created this 100-acre marsh in the 1950s for propagation of Canada geese. Their goal was to get geese to imprint on the property, get them to be born, raised here, hatched here, and then so they imprinted here to help booster the population of Canada geese locally so that they stay here. So that program was pretty successful. At one time it was, like I said, a 100-acre marsh. They had part of it they would plant to wheat. They had provided the food. They had a fence, it almost looked like a Jurassic Park facility around the place to keep predators out while the geese were nesting here. Just across the road to the north of the Goose Pens, there's a big refuge, and the reason that refuge is in place is again because of the Goose Pens here. They wanted the geese to have a safe place to stay after throughout the winter months to where they weren't harassed by hunters. So they had food and water over here, and then they always planted big agricultural fields to the north here, again for the Canada geese. As time progressed in the 60s, 70s, the Canada geese population kind of took off, and that project was kind of abandoned just because there were so many Canada geese in the state and in the nation that population started to bolster. So again, they had this 100-acre area that they didn't really know what to do with, so they started a new project, and they used it for least tern nesting. So they hauled from the Arkansas River, they hauled a bunch of sand in. Least terns like to nest on sandy islands. So they again, they had the predator-proof fence around there, and they built these big islands. They hauled sand, I think it was for weeks on end, hauled sand, built these islands up in the middle of what was the Goose Pens, and they tried to get least terns to nest out here. Least terns is an endangered species, and that one was a failure, a big failure. It never took off at all. To my knowledge, there never was a least tern that was even attempted to nest out here. So that was abandoned, and then through time, the facilities, the infrastructure, and the Goose Pens has failed. We have an inlet that comes in off our inlet canal and an outlet, and none of them are functioning properly. So we have this 100-acre wasted area on the property, man-made marsh. My plan for the project is to kind of level off all the islands, get rid of all the old infrastructure, replace the new infrastructure, level off the islands, fill in the low spots that are in here that they use to push the islands up. And in the middle of it, we're putting a big peninsula out that goes straight east and west. And on that peninsula, on the end of it, we're going to put a duck blind on there. And that is going to be for our future special hunt program through Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. What the special hunt program allows is it's a special draw, limited access to the property, and we will have a special hunt in there once a week, usually on a Saturday, for up to 3 kids. The adults will accompany the kids just as a mentorship. The adults won't be able to hunt, so this will be a special area, limited access, limited hunting pressure that should hopefully provide really good hunting opportunities for the kids in the future. Plus, it will again increase our wetland acres and increase our ability to manage the property. The funding is coming from several different sources. Initially, we had Evergy come out, and they donated several. They were out here for a couple days with dozers, and they kind of built that initial peninsula. They did a little bit of the dirt work. Ducks Unlimited has stepped in with a North American Wetlands Conservation Act grant, or short NACA for short, has provided the funding. So that is a 50-50 match. Several different projects. Ducks Unlimited has some money. They have to, for every dollar that Ducks Unlimited puts in, the North American Wetland Act Conservation Act grant puts in another dollar. So it's a 50-50. So that is where the funding is currently coming from. And then I have some private donations that I'm going to be looking to kind of fix up the rest of it. That duck blind, we're going to try to have it to where it's somewhat handicap accessible, easy access, or I got some private money that is going to be put in for the blind in there. So basically, this is not costing us really anything. All of it's either donated or completely grant money, so that hasn't come out of any of our normal operating budget or some of the other grant money that we've gotten before. So this is kind of a free project per se, thanks to Ducks Unlimited, the NACA grant, Evergy for donating it, and then some private donors for finishing off some of the other projects. So this is something, when I first showed up as manager at the property, I've been excited about the whole time. This is the one project I wanted to see done, and we are suffering through a horrible drought right now. But it again allows us to do these type of projects, and something that we've really wanted to do for 7 years now. That is something I wanted to do, and it's going to be something that we're going to, not only for the future of wildlife, but also the future of hunting, get some kids involved, get them a quality hunt in great conditions, and allow them to prosper and hopefully keep the hunting tradition alive.